I think it goes without saying that Madara is one of the most foreshadowed anime villains of all time. It took almost 500 chapters from when he was first mentioned during Naruto vs. Sasuke's first squabble, yeah, it's like a squabble compared to what happens later, up till when he was first introduced during the war. So, from the very beginning, he was part of the very fabric of the universe's lore. And the first time he was mentioned was so subtle and brilliant it altered the perception of the implication of his entire purpose in the narrative. The first time he was mentioned, we knew nothing about him. We heard nothing of his hatred towards the first Hokage. We heard nothing of his past tragedy that pushed him over the edge. The first we saw of him was the unrelenting truth that there was a cataclysmic battle between the two world superpowers who were once allies. Yet, something set their relationship astray, which resulted in the most legendary battle in all of known ninja history, where, despite not knowing the details, the Hokage is seen in the light of the good guy, and Madara is regarded as the bad traitor dude. Furthermore, this battle is cemented in history not only by the massive statues, but by the massive valley that was caused by their battle. Up to this point, when we think overpowered jutsu, we're like, whoa, Kakashi's lightning blade, whoa, Orochimaru's neck is able to stretch so freaking long. This battle was unfathomable, and we now realize how ridiculously powerful the ninjas of the past actually were. And the reason why all this is ridiculously important and overly stuck in the subconscious of every viewer, it's because all this lore that I was just talking about was basically set in place to juxtapose to the Naruto vs. Sasuke climax, wrapping up Naruto's first season, to be some form of reconvening of history. Naruto's dreams to become the greatest Hokage, facing off against his best friend who abandoned his village to chase power and revenge. There is no other anime, to my recollection, that mastered this form of subtle foreshadowing or subconscious storytelling to such an extent so much before the threat was actually revealed, especially because this is where the original Naruto series was supposed to end and leave you with the lingering memories of one of the greatest battles we've ever seen on both a superficial level and on an emotional level. I am very much looking forward to doing my Art of the Fight Scene videos, one of them contrasting the battle between the first Naruto vs. Sasuke and the final battle at the end of Shippuden, so subscribe if you're interested in something like that, you know, describing the subtle narrative behind those fights. But that's not what this video is today. Today I'll be analyzing how to hype an overpowered character featuring Madara as my 7th episode in this Overpowered analysis series, and Madara was one of the most requested participants by far, so I hope I don't let you guys down. Feel free to subscribe if you like the series, because I feel like some people do not give enough credit to some of these characters, and I intend to do one of these on several Naruto characters, as well as several of the Akatsuki members that just don't get the shine they deserve. The important lingering subconscious message in regard to Madara that we retain from the Naruto vs. Sasuke battle is how, just like our perspective of the ninja world is focused on the evolution of Naruto and Sasuke, who will in eventuality be the pinnacle of their universe, just that's how the story's being written, so too was the relationship in the past between their respective legends, as the precipice of strength in their own time. And this was the beginning of Swagkage's Madara erection. This remains as nothing but foreshadowing, and seemingly trying to serve the purpose of foreshadowing the future of Naruto and Sasuke and the relationship they will have, especially because we really forgot about Madara for a while until his name is even next uttered. And that's how the brilliance of his character was continued to be built. Never in the foreground of our attention, there happened to be this oddball character named Toby that is now in the Akatsuki, and he was such a jovial little fellow, no one was even suspicious of the guy. And we welcomed him with open arms as everyone's favorite evil goofball. As time passes, we eventually learn that the Uchiha coup d'etat was caused in large part by this weird Toby guy's own hand, unbeknownst to anyone. We learned that the Blood Mist Village was under his control, unbeknownst to anyone. We learned that he was responsible for the Nine-Tail attack on the Leaf Village that resulted in the death of the 4th Hokage, unbeknownst to anyone. We learned that Pain got possession of his Rinnegan through this Toby dude, and that over a decade later, he used that to mold the Akatsuki organization to be ruled under his own thumb, unbeknownst to anyone. Every major unaffiliated event that took place over this 15-year time span, even though seemingly completely disconnected one from another, under the microscope, every single one of them was either directly or indirectly caused by this mysterious figure. And no living ninja that wasn't directly under his supervision knew about any of this. He was the perfect infiltrator into everyone's defense, getting inside the chink of everyone's armor, including ours. That funny guy in the Akatsuki was actually somehow a mastermind behind the ninja world that we thought we understood. He was already controlling our perception of the world unbeknownst to anyone, making us subconsciously feel like cogs in his master plan. And then he proclaimed to be Madara. Youch. The realization of that proclamation jumps started the dormant subconscious circuitry laid over the last several hundred episodes and surprised every viewer, even more than we were surprised when we actually figured out Tenten was not filler. Who knew? My mind was freaking in tatters when I saw her in the manga. God damn. But in all honesty, Toby claiming to be Madara brought everything that was hiding in the back of our minds to the foreground. The obscure past became a threatening present. Going back in time, I clearly remember when this was revealed, when Toby was like, yeah, fam, I'm actually Madara. The fan base split as far as if Madara was actually still somehow alive and still manipulating the events of the world, or if someone else took his name and acted as his will. That ambiguity among fans only further strengthened the thirst for understanding what his greater purpose was in the narrative, and both ended up somewhat correct. It was someone powerful from the depths of the past of one of our characters masquerading as Madara, but at the same time, it was indeed the direct will of Madara set in motion during his lifetime, causing the ninja world to slowly descend into turmoil and even scarier. Everything was going exactly as planned, and the reveal of Toby was done so subtly and brilliantly. It was easily one of my favorite and most powerful moments in the series, but people complain, the show died post-pain. I personally understand the sentiment, kinda, if you're coming from one perspective, but I vastly disagree. When Toby declared war on the world, it was one of the most bone-chilling declarations I've seen, where he was just so certain of his victory, despite his side consisting of just himself and Zetsu. This Madara guy, whoever he is, means business, and he ain't just playing. Then Kabuto reveals to join him and reveals his Ito Tensei. That's not enough to convince Toby, though. He wasn't down to have creepy snake dude join his alliance, and then Kabuto reveals his trump card corpse, and it freaks the living crap out of Toby. We don't see what's in the coffin, but we know all too well that the only thing Kabuto can actually show him to cause such a response of disbelief, bewilderment, and terror would be a reincarnation of Madara, or his mother-in-law. But Madara seemed a lot more likely for the sake of the story, and that was the most impressive backhanded reveal of a major plot point I can actually remember offhand. Since Madara was actually revealed this way, it strengthens the mystery behind Toby's identity, but even more so, A, Toby's scared, so this probably Madara is a massive game changer. B, that means Toby wasn't just masquerading around as Madara, and we don't actually know anything about him aside from what's actually stated in history. Kinda dislikes Hashirama, has a thing for kittens, etc. He's a blank page being introduced this late into the story, and C, why? Why was all this done in Madara's name? D, maybe we're overthinking this, and Madara's just another reanimated corpse, and it freaked out Toby because it blew his cover. Yeah, he's something special, and he proves that in many layers. He takes on hundreds at once, but that's not enough, so he takes on the Kages at once. Still not memorable enough. He breaks the world's lore, showing that a Rinnegan is actually an evolved Sharingan, already causing you to question Pain's existence and how that came to be, and that makes Madara even more powerful than he was when he fought the first Hokage. Oh, and he can also use Wood Style. Oh, and the Wood Style clones can bring out their own individual Susanos, and he also found a way to evolve Susanoo into a perfect Susanoo. This was one fight, people. His first battle against the Kage completely cashed out on all the hype he was deserved to have and more. This wasn't done with our usual gradual build-up that we see in villains. He wasn't playing around. He went from 0 to 60 so damn fast, it felt like getting rammed into by a gay Broly. A pissed off gay Broly. In an instant, he became the greatest threat in the verse, reawakening in our subconscious the manipulation he was causing behind the scenes, the parallel between him and Sasuke, and the fact that dealing with him will take everything they got, and where they themselves have to become a legend to defeat a legend. All that said and done, he's essentially the perfect type obstacle for our good guys. A perfect typed villain also needs a justifiable motive and an endgame plan, and by his own twisted mentality and perverted morality, Madara's deep philosophical convictions are way deeper than your average Pinky and the Brain villain. I'm evil to become the most powerful and take over the world. Not meaning to put down any other series, but ask yourself if the villain's ideals and convictions are genuine and really worth something. Madara's are. So when he's shed in the right light, he becomes more of a philosophical anti-villain than your average shonen supervillain. And that is how you hype an overpowered arc villain. Unfortunately, this video is my OP analysis series, and I therefore expressed why I believe he's one of the most properly hyped anime main villains of all time. And he's my third favorite villain in all of Naruto. Also, unfortunately, he was dealt with a bit lacklusterly, Zetsu. And if he would have remained as a main villain to the end, I feel like I would be a lot happier with the series finale. I dedicate this video to the great and powerful Swagkage-sama, Madara's #1 fan. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm sorry for all this Swagkage memes that keep emanating from my channel, especially from my comment section. Thanks, fanbase. But Swag, you were definitely my inspiration for focusing a lot more on shonen, trying to be analytical about casting shonen in a good light as a line of defense against the elitist cringe lords that, unfortunately, there seem to be way too many of them. And also to all of you watching, whether it's analysis or some of my wacky satire videos, I love you guys and appreciate every one of you. Feel free to subscribble and join the fan base. Let me know what future OP analysis you'd be interested in. And also, don't forget to leave a like for more smiles. Thanks for watching. Stay weird, Swagkaggers.